This is George Dionne with Metal Express Radio, and I'm here with Francesco Bucci of ScreaMachine. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Here in Rome, it's night. It's 10:30 p.m.
Oh, yeah, it's late out there.
It's later, yeah.
If I knew absolutely nothing about ScreaMachine, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Loud heavy metal, man. I think that the whole concept behind ScreaMachine is really simple. Maybe you don't know, but we are, experienced musicians. As you can see, I'm not a child anymore. So,
right.
And every one of us has a story, and we are in the scene since almost 20 years. I am the bass player and songwriter also of Stormlord, which is an extreme metal band in Italy that it's one of the most old metal band in Italy. Alex and Paolo play in Caledon, which is another very old power metal band from Italy too. But what it's behind ScreaMachine is the will to pay our tribute to our roots, to that classic heavy metal sound. Okay, the one that we learned to love when we were child. So I'm talking about Judas Priest, Saxon, but also early Metallica, Iron Maiden, and stuff like that. So our will, it was to play loud heavy metal, nothing more, nothing less. But what is important to me, and I'm sorry, but I have to open to my cat, because it's, you can see there, it's very metal.
Yes.
What it's very important to me is that we didn't want to sound vintage, okay? We were not interested in sounding like Number of the Beast, because, we have plenty of albums that sound that way. We also want to have this modern approach to the classic heavy metal sound. So loud heavy metal, I think it fits good for ScreaMachine.
So how did you guys all come together for this project?
Well, as I told you, I am from Rome. Also, the other guy are from Rome, and Rome has had a good heavy metal scene, and we also knew each other since a long time because, of course, we have been playing together with our bands. We met at the shows, so we know each other since a lot of time. There was one particular show that was really important for me because I am the founding member of ScreaMachine. It's called Metal for Kids. It was a festival, a benefit festival, I would say, if it's right. It means we were raising money for charities. And it was organized by Fabrizio Troiano, Faber Troy, and it also involved a lot of artists like Mark Bowles or people like that. And me, Alex, and Paolo, so the two guitar players and me, were involved in this event. And we were playing mainly songs from classic rock and early heavy metal. And I felt that it was so good. I was feeling so good in doing that I said, okay, let's make a band like that. And they were the first one to came in my mind.
Excellent. And your new album, it's self-titled. It comes out on April 9th on Frontiers Music. There it is. Perfect. You're the main songwriter, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's true.
Did you want to tell me a little bit about one of the first singles, Demon Dome?
Well, Demon Dome was also the first song that I wrote for ScreaMachine. And, it's very important when you have a new band in your hands, the first song that you write, because it's easy to imagine what kind of music you will play, but it's very difficult when it comes to instruments, because you have to set the guidelines. So I know I just had this very strong will to play this traditional heavy metal, and it was not intended as power metal or speed metal, but just heavy metal. So I took my guitar, and the main riff from Demon Dome comes out, and still is one of my favorite songs from this album. And this is very rare for me, because every time I make the songwriting for an album, I try to make every song better than the other. But Dimondone had something special, and it was very important because also for the other guys, because I am the main songwriter, but also Alex Mele, the guitar player, writes a lot, also Paolo, and also the singer has wrote one song. For them was important, Dimondone was important because I was able to communicate with music, what I was searching for, okay, for the next song of the band. And I'm so happy that also the label, because the label told me that this could be the right single for us. I was not pushing my song, but they say this song is perfect. It represents what ScreaMachine is, and it's a very good song. So it's very, very cool that the first thing that you all heard from ScreaMachine was the first song that I wrote for the project.
Excellent. You've also put out The Metal Monster. Why don't you talk about that song a little bit?
The Metal Monster, it's the most important contribution so far from Paolo. Paolo Campitelli, which is the guitar player, is also the sound engineer of the whole album. And it was such a great add to the band, because first I was in touch with Alex, who played in Caledon, and then he said, I had this keyboard player. I used to know Paolo, but as a keyboard player, because in Caledon he played keyboards. But he told me, Paolo, it's also a killer guitar player. He could kill to play some heavy guitar-driven heavy metal. I was not so convinced in the beginning because I know that the guy was really talented musically, but I say, okay, keyboard player, I want no keyboards at all. I want just guitar. But I was astonished in looking at how good he was at the guitar. And the Metal Monster, since he came in the project in the middle, okay, most of the songs were already written in demo form. Not yes. Okay. I don't know if you can understand me well because my English is terrible. But anyway, we had a demo with a lot of songs, but he said that he has one song that was in the, he was keeping since a lot of time. We heard that song and it was Metal Monster. I say it's fucking perfect for the project. And then our singer was able to write a very good vocal lines. All the vocals, the melody of the vocals was written by our singer Valerio, and the result was so perfect that we thought it was a great second single.
Excellent, and it is a great second single. You also have a couple of guests on the album. You have Simone Mulleroni from DGM on The Human God, and you have Herbie Langhans from Sonic Haven. Both labeled.
It's very difficult for me too to pronounce his surname. Very difficult. I call him Herbie in every interview.
So, how did these guys get involved? Was it Frontiers that brought them to your attention?
Okay, talking about the guests, as you guessed right, we had a lot of guests, and we have to split them in half. So we have a group of guitar players. Okay, so Simone from DGM, we have Massimiliano Pagliuso, who is the lead guitar player of Novembre from Italy and also from Oceana. We have Andrea Angelini from Storm North, which is my other band. And then we have Francesco Mattei from Noveria. These are all friends of us. So they were already in the album when we make the deal with Frontiers. Because our concept behind this album was also to make... Do you remember the song We Are Stars from Ronnie James Dio?
Yeah.
We are stars. Okay. So for us, we were so happy to pay our tribute to heavy metal that we had this idea in mind. Okay, let's try to keep in touch with all our friends that we think that they are real guitar player, and let's see if they can give something to ScreaMachine. And thanks God, during all these years playing metal here in Italy, we had a really talented friends. So it was no problem for us to keep in touch with Simone or with other bandmates. So it was something that we wanted to make the album richer. And of course, we were so happy to have this friend joining us. Then, after we made the deal with Frontiers, I was talking with the label, and they said that it was possible if we wanted to make to have some more guests. And I say, okay, with guitar player we are over, but for me as a bass player and as a bass player that came from extreme metal, a dream come true would be to have a duet with Steve DiGiorgio, of course.
Right.
And luckily, Steve DiGiorgio also had a link with Frontiers. So they told me, okay, we can't promise nothing, but we can let you keep in touch. You can talk. And I want to say that Steve DiGiorgio was such a gentleman. We just with a few mail, and he sent me his work, and it was like a dream come true for me. And the other guest that Frontiers was telling me it was possible to reach was Herbie. And Herbie was exactly the kind of vocals I had in mind to duet with Valerio, because I think that the one important thing in ScreaMachine, it's vocals. Why? Because it's an incorrect and violent vocals. In my mind, I want to take back, the first 80s, people like Paul Diano, people like the more angry Halford, not that kind of power metal vocals like Timo Kotipelto, which is very good, or Michael Kiske, very clean, very perfect, very technical. I wanted a vocal, a singer that could sound dangerous. And maybe not too correct at all, violent, because that was how heavy metal was meant to be in the 80s, but with a modern feeling in that. And so Herbie, it's also a really great mate for us, because his vocals are really bluesy, really raunchy, raspy, I would say.
Right.
So it fits perfectly, I think.
Is ScreaMachine a studio project, or are you planning to tour if it's possible?
We are ready to set the stages on fire, my friend. The only problem, is the situation we are living right now. Only this problem. And here in Europe, it's still really hard, especially here in Italy. There are no shows. The clubs are still closed. And here in Rome, we are still in maximum security times, so we can't go out of the city. So it's but also in Europe, there are a lot of problems. So for me, it's very hard to think when all will become normal again. And of course, the live activity will be one of our priority. But right now, I have to say that we are using this time to write the second album.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, because anyway, we have no control on when it will be possible for us to play. So okay, fuck it, let's write the second album. So the set list will be longer, and maybe the people we will gain more fans in the meanwhile.
Sure. Are you working on any other musical projects? It seems like everybody in Frontiers has their hand in something else.
Yes, I have other musical project, but still not for Frontiers, even if I'm really open to every kind of collaboration, because I love music and I love rock and roll. So Stormlord, as I was telling before, you before, it's my other project, my main band since 20 years. We made 6 albums, a lot of tour worldwide, and right now, because of the participation of meeting one of our guests, I was also I entered in the band Oceana. It's like Oceana. Okay,
yep.
with Massimiliano Pagliuso, the guitar player from November, that played a solo in this album. I used to know him since a lot of time, but it's been a while since we were not chatting together. And thanks to this solo, I was so happy with his work and how he was available. We began to keep in touch again. He told me that he had this project, so he wanted me to join. So right now I'm also playing with Oceana. We play melodic death metal.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah. I look forward to hearing that.
Yeah, the debut album from Oceana was out on January. Okay.
Yeah.
But right now, let's focus on ScreaMachine, or Frontiers will be very
Absolutely. Well, that's all I got for you for questions today, actually. I appreciate you taking the time. Your new album comes out on April 9th on Frontiers Music, and sounds really good. I wish you the best of luck.